Hey everyone, welcome. I have a special guest, somebody who actually reached out to me on Instagram, has the same mindset, financial freedom, loves to help people. Let's welcome Eric Martel to the show. How you doing, sir?
Very good, Michael. How are you?
I'm doing very well. So Eric, do me a favor, introduce the audience to who you are, where you are in the country, and what you do in this crazy world of real estate investing.
Yeah, so I bought my first apartment building when I was 18 years old. I was still at university at the time. And it was not part of a grand master plan or anything like that. It was just, I had a mentor and I was curious about real estate. And I ended up buying an 8-unit apartment building, no money down in a rundown part near Montreal. And that's where I grew up. And so that was great. And it was still cash flowing at the time. So everybody was telling me, this can't happen, blah, blah, blah. After that, after graduating, I worked as an actuary, and an actuary is somebody that, measure and calculates financial risk. So I did that for a while. And my job was really every day was to convert defined benefit pension plan into defined contribution pension plan, basically corporate pension plan where how much you're going to get for retirement.
Yeah.
And we're converting them into 401ks, basically, where you have no idea. You're just saving money, tax deferred, and then good luck. So basically really shifting the risk from the employer to the employee. And the employee, that nobody's been taught about money.
Yeah.
Nobody's been taught about investing. So of course, at the end, this is what's happening now, is that we're in a retirement crisis when people have, like the average 50-year-old, 55-year-old has $8,000 in the bank for savings for retirement in the US. Not much.
Yeah.
So you're not going to retire. You're going to retire for a couple of months, and then you're going to have to go find
go
a
get
job.
that part-time job. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I was pretty disillusioned about all that. And,
so do me a favor. I want to go back to you being 18, because you said something that was important that most 18-year-olds don't have. So I want to scratch that a little bit. You mentioned at 18, you bought an 8-unit building, but you said you had a mentor. So was that mentor someone in your family, someone you bumped into somewhere else? Where does an 18-year-old find a mentor that says, you know what, you need to go buy a no money down 8-unit building?
So it was somebody that I bumped into. It was actually a friend of mine. And then I went to her parents for basically the summer. And then one of their family friends were, he was in real estate, and he was just a regular guy. He was a teacher at a community college.
Okay.
And so he was not making that much money and stuff like that, but he had some free times during the summer. So he would kind of like think about investing in real estate. But that every day, he had like a daily practice of sitting down and then thinking, okay, what am I going to do today to get closer to my goal and all that. And he ended up doing a 36-unit apartment building. He had, and last time I talked to him a long time ago, he was doing a shopping center.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So I want to poke at that a little bit more, because mentorship is something that's not talked about enough today. Again, I just want to kind of paint the vision for the audience. So you're 18, you're in Montreal.
Yeah.
I'm guessing he's older, probably a couple of decades.
Yeah, he's older.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
I'm guessing real estate based, or he was a teacher. You already said that. So he had a full-time job. This was kind of his side hustle. And it sounds like he was only doing, at least in the beginning when you started this, just doing multifamily. He didn't do single family homes.
He did the one single family, I believe.
Okay.
And then he sold it. He just built it to sell it. Then he got enough cash to kind of get started his multifamily project. Okay. And that's it. When I met him, the apartment building was already built, so he had it for a while already. But even the nice thing about that story too, like being a mentor, obviously that was important to me for a reason that we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
But also the fact that he was just a regular guy, community college teacher. My friend's parents, one of them was a hairdresser, and her father was a mechanic. And they each had like a 36-unit apartment building.
Wow.
So just regular people that they just put their minds to it. They learned the skills, and then they managed to build and buy like apartment buildings.
Wow. All right. So let's scratch that a little bit more. I want to go to your first deal. So you're 18 years old. You get an 8-unit building. So let's talk about that deal a little bit. You said it was no money down. You said it was in a rough part of town, which makes sense. So no money down probably meant what? Seller financing, seller carry.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah. So vendor take back, what they call it was seller financing. Yeah, exactly. So I had a first mortgage.
Yep.
And then he just did like a second mortgage for the rest of the.
So first mortgage with a bank or a financial institution, and then he took
credit union. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
No banks would talk to me.
Of course, you're 18, dude.
18.
Yeah, you walk in the door, they're going to give you a credit card or something, not an 8-unit building.
Exactly.
Wow. So, do you still own that today?
No, I sold it a few years later, made a little bit of money, but
just kept rolling forward. Okay.
Yeah, because I moved away from Montreal, so it just
makes sense.
And at the time, one of the mistakes that I made is that I didn't have property management.
Self-managed.
So that was self-managed, and I'm not a maintenance guy. I don't know anything about that, so yeah.
Yeah. A lot of this channel's full-time employees. I had property managers since day one. I mean, even when it's just one house, it's like, no. Yeah. Can I paint a wall? Yeah. But will it look good? No. And I value my time way too much. So
exactly.
Where does your real estate journey go? So you buy 8-unit, no money down, you prove it works, you graduate college, you get a full-time job, you move from Montreal. Where does your journey go with real estate?
Yes. So then you kind of fast forward a few decades. After that, I was kind of disillusioned by the whole actuarial field and stuff like that. It was pretty depressing to basically screw employees every day. So then I went into high tech. Then I worked for a couple of companies, did a lot of the independent consulting, blah, blah, blah. And then, so I moved to California, and I lost tons of money on the .com crash because I had stock options.
Yeah, I have that scar right back here.
Yeah, exactly. And then I said, okay, this is enough. I need something that I can be in control of.
Yeah.
Not the stock market, none of that. So I need to find rental properties, passive income, and that's when my focus was on passive income in 2001.
Got it. All right. So from the 8-unit building to 2001, it was basically career, family, just life.
That's right. That's right.
2001, stock market blows up. Oh, by the way, folks, the stock market's pretty richly valued today. I see a repeat out there. I'm just saying, you don't know when, but there will be a pen that pops this bubble eventually. Okay.
Absolutely.
So 2001, you're in California. What do? Do you buy in California? Do you go out of state?
I looked for rental property in California. The numbers didn't make sense in California to me. You can make things cash flow, but then you had to put so much money down, then your return was 1-2%. Well, so 1-2%, I can get that anywhere.
Yeah.
And so we tried to, you can even get bonds and get 1%. So then I said, okay, well, let's do other things. Let's look at the time, I couldn't do, out of state was a little bit harder.
Yeah.
There was the iPhone was not there.
Yeah. Smartphone didn't exist. Yeah.
Electronic signature, the DocuSign, I think it started in 2003, 2004, and it took a few years for it to be widely accepted by real estate industry. So there was really the out of state thing that meant I had to basically fly, talk to people, and then trust them and all of that. So that was kind of foreign, and didn't seem like a good idea. It seemed very risky.
Yeah.
So, all right. So then we tried all kinds of different businesses to do that, a gourmet sauce company and all of that. And fast forward 2014, my younger son basically said, "Hey, I want to do real estate investing." I said, "Oh boy."
Yeah. Oh boy.
Said,
been there.
Yeah, been there, done that. So let's think about that. But me being a good father,
sure.
I listened, and then we said, okay, let's talk about that. Let's look at it and blah blah. And we did some training. We went to some program and did a 1-day and a 3-day kind of program and all of that. And I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with these kinds of situations.
Sure.
And so we learned quite a bit, and he seemed very interested in doing that. And at the time, it was we were really just thinking for himself, for him as a job.
Yep.
But later on, then this grew into something a little bit bigger. We tried flipping here. We tried doing wholesaling in the Bay Area, San Francisco Bay Area.
Okay.
We even tried commercial, which is kind of like more what I was used to with
Sure.
the 8-unit apartment building. So we tried to look at that kind of situation in San Francisco. I had like actually an apartment, a building in downtown San Francisco that I had under contract, and I had like a mentor that was kind of a partner
Yeah.
that had a lot of experience. So we tried to do that, and that fell through. So anyway, so we kind of like regrouped and said, okay, well, we need to change strategy here. This is not working. We're spending a lot of time, and then that's when we started looking at more passive income, again, rental, but out of state.
Okay.
And I said, okay, well, which market are we going to go to? And we chose Memphis, and we can talk about kind of like the criteria as well if you want.
Yeah, sure.
But we looked at Memphis, and then we looked at Cleveland, and that's our first house. We really bought in 2015, I believe, and it was in Midtown, not in Midtown, in around Memphis.
Yep.
And great area, and we bought it. We refinanced the whole BRRRR strategy,
Sure.
and it was like, oh, this working great.
Yeah.
My God.
Yeah.
Let's do two more. And especially coming from California, I mean, the down payment was like, like the purchase price was like 20 with the rehab, $40,000, $50,000 all in, and then you would rent it for $700 or something like that. So it was like, wow, this is fantastic. Let's do a couple more.
This is what everybody talks about. I found it.
Yeah, exactly. And you just need one strategy to work, and then you just scale that strategy up.
Yeah, that's what I totally agree with that. You got to find your thing. The real estate investing offers almost unlimited opportunities, but when you're in the beginning, that could be a detriment because you only need one.
Yes, exactly.
Right? You need one, and that's really what my one rental at a time is. I had a full-time job that basically gave me 15 minutes a day to find the next deal.
Wow.
So that's all I could do. So we just found the next deal and just kept going. I mean, there's no way we could be where we are if we tried to. I didn't BRRRR anything, right? We did BRRRR in 2010 before it was a thing.
Yeah.
You just kept going for the next deal. So, all right. So you and your kid do this together. You find Memphis, you find a deal, you go, wow, some is good, more is better. So if you fast forward to 2020, what does the portfolio look like? You and your son still doing it together? You still in Memphis? Are you in multiple markets? Let's paint the end of the story.
Yeah. So 2015. Yeah. So 2015, my other son graduated from LMU, and then he joined us, and then so that we talk about how much time you have, and that was critical because during the day, like I didn't have that much time either. I had flexibility, but 15 minutes here, 15 minutes there, and all of that between meetings, basically.
Yeah.
And so he was able to basically concentrate 100% of his time, and that already allowed me to, in the evenings and weekends, then I would work with him, and we would make sure that everything was aligned. And then this was my secret weapon, is to have my two kids and my older kids kind of like drive that.
Sure.
And so that was phenomenal. And so we did one house, two houses, and then eventually what happens is that a lot of our friends and family asked us, like, what are you doing? Like, they were always curious because we had done so many different businesses in the past, so they knew we were up to something.
Yeah.
So so that's when we said, okay, well, this is what we're doing. So they wanted to invest with us. They wanted to buy turnkey. They want all of that. And then that's when we decided to start Martel Turnkey. So our turnkey company where we sell these companies, these single family rentals, ready to go with a tenant in place, cash flowing from day one, and all of that. And now we're doing about 10 of these properties a month, turnkey. Yeah. And we have like a portfolio of like 5 apartment buildings in Midtown Memphis, about 100 units.
Wow.
So, so it's doing pretty well.
So I just want to paint this in picture. So you have some success, you build it, you get additional hours and skill from a second son. You build that up. It becomes a business because people are asking you, right? You just do what you do. You're sharing what you do, and people go, "Give me some." I get it, totally get it. Along the way, you buy an apartments or one apartment building, 100 units. I'm guessing that is kind of yours, right? Kind of off to the side. That's cash flow for you and the family.
That's right.
Okay. Um, oh, that's pretty cool. Are you still just in Memphis? I mean, if it's working, it's working.
Memphis and Cleveland. Yeah. So then we did Cleveland
When did
as well.
Cleveland? What year did Cleveland come in?
Cleveland came in, I think, in 2016, early
Okay, so pretty
2016,
close.
maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, very close. Because then we saw, we knew we had the formula,
Yeah.
and then we said, okay, let's do it. Let's
Yeah.
ramp up. Let's scale this up in Memphis. And then we were all the other market. What's the next market? What's
Right.
another market that looks the same?
Yeah.
Because we wanted to do more, but we couldn't find enough properties at the
Sure.
time.
Yeah.
So we said, okay, well, let's move that. Let's find another market where that would work as well. So then we
Right.
picked Cleveland, and my son flew over there to interview a couple of realtors.
Right.
The nice thing about realtors is that they really flag themselves very quickly. You send like 100 emails and you say, hey, call or
Yeah.
calls and stuff like that, and only 3 of them replied.
It's amazing.
So
Yeah.
so okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Replied within 24 hours, I would
Sure.
say. Some of them replied like the next week. It was like, okay, well, I don't want to work with somebody that's going to reply every week.
Your urgency is not the same level as mine. Absolutely.
Exactly.
All right. So let's, cause I've interviewed some folks from Memphis, and they are very successful, right? I think it's Brick by Brick Wealth is her. She's a mom of 3 kids. She doesn't have a business. It's her and her husband's portfolio. She's told us great stories about Memphis. I'm guessing, that first purchase, I think you said you were all in for about $40K, and rents for $700. That was kind of 2014 or 15 prices. What are you seeing today in 2020? Because I'm guessing it's not the same price point.
Yeah. So right now, these properties are worth like $80,000, $90,000.
Oh,
the rents are, yeah. So that, it's appreciating, and things are going well. Also, Memphis is growing rapidly. When we were looking for markets that were stable. Like we didn't want to have like markets like San Francisco or Phoenix or something like that, where the growth is so steep that it's not sustainable. And what happens is that the prices are also very expensive and unaffordable. So that's why we.
So you wanted some growth, but not crazy growth.
Exactly. For our strategy, of course, if you do, forced appreciation strategy, that's a good market to do that. But if you're looking for cash flowing properties and stuff like that and good returns, then, this market was better for us.
All right.
And
so what are rents then? So if you're taking a house that was 40 or 50K is now 90K, was renting for 700, what do they rent for now?
So right now they rent around 800, 850.
Okay, so you're close to the 1% rule, as people would say on bigger pockets. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And I would guess lending is actually easier now than in 15, because historically speaking, banks didn't want to lend on a 50K house, but because of the Dodd-Frank and all of that. But now 90K is a real loan, right? So they're okay with that. All right.
Yeah. And then what happens is, we help our investors with the loan as well. So we have a bank that we have a relationship with.
Oh, okay.
And then we introduce them to the bank, and the bank they're integrated with our process as well. So we communicate with them very well. So that's
very cool. So you're doing about 10 a month, because some people are looking for turnkey rentals. Where can people go look for the inventory or reach out to Martel Turnkey?
So martelturnkey.com obviously is the obvious link.
There you go.
So that's good. But if they want more information, they can also contact me, on Facebook, eric.martel.ca. So that's another place to, but I can give you the link. And
I'll just put it in the description.
Description. Yeah. But so, if they have any questions and stuff like that, then I'm happy to answer them.
Very cool. Well, one thing I know I wanted to talk about is you've just completed writing a book called "Stop Trading Your Time for Money." As someone who wrote a book and struggled through that process, congratulations. Birthing or publishing a book, at least for me, was a monumental task. So congratulations. What sparked the idea for the creation? Because it takes a lot.
So when I spoke I saw a lot of barriers. I'm kind of going back, and this is why I'm talking about my actuarial career, because I'm looking at all the people that are struggling, the level of savings and all of that, and I see that the patterns are repeating. Like the people are buying annuities and they're buying these kinds of products, and they're good product for accumulation, but they're not good product necessarily for distribution of funds later on.
Right.
And Uh, so like I want to help the people, normal people, working class people, and middle class to basically achieve, a solid retirement and leave a legacy for their children. So and so I wanted to share my journey,
Mm-hmm.
how I did it. Of course, I had help with my two sons that I'm very lucky about for,
Sure.
but there's still, even if you don't have these your children that can help you, at least if you do turnkey or some other investments, it's possible for you to achieve a passive income and financial freedom. So there's all kinds of different strategies that you can use. And the other thing too that I'm looking at is a lot of people are struggling. It's pretty difficult. They have a goal and they're not really sure what that goal is, and they're not sure how to define it. So the book helps them define that.
Mm-hmm.
There's also a lot. So basically, I'm trying to remove as many of these barriers to financial freedom as I can. So limiting beliefs as well. So I have a couple of chapters on that and how to kind of like create and come up with more empowering beliefs
Mm-hmm.
that's going to help you forward and kind of get rid of some of the negative beliefs that are preventing you from achieving financial freedom. And then also aligning your strategy to your goals, but
Mm-hmm.
also looking at the resources that you have. A lot of people are getting into strategies, and the very good one, like a BRRRR. They go in a BRRRR strategy, but then they don't have time to do it.
Yeah.
Right? They're working.
Exactly.
They have 15 minutes a day. Well, you can't do BRRRR
You
out
can't
of
do BRRRR
state
out of
15
state
minutes a
for
day.
sure.
Yeah. So there you go. So you can't do that.
Yeah.
So, but people are going to try that, and they're going to waste their money on
Yeah.
that, or they're going to, so that's why I'm helping them with that and kind of like figure out what the resources that they need to support that strategy.
I like that.
And then the markets also to all these things need to be aligned in order for the strategy to be successful and achieve your goal.
Very cool. So again, stop trading your time for money. I'm guessing it'll be on Amazon, but maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
You figure, right? It has to be. When does it? What's the published date? Yeah, published date.
Yeah, so it's going to be launch date is going to be around like September. So right now my date is September 20th. So that's what I'm looking at. But we'll see how things are lining up right now. But I think we're good for September 20th. So if people want the book, they can go on marteleric.com/book. And then, so they just give me their name and email address. And then when the book launches, I'll send them the link, and then they can get the book for free out of Amazon.
Oh, wow.
So that's, So all your audience can get the book for free.
Yeah, very cool. So send me that link. I will put it in the very top of the description, folks. It'll be the first line or two. I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you about how cool it is to work with your sons.
It is fantastic. I mean, to me, that's my dream. I don't know if it's theirs, but I know it's mine.
That's hilarious.
Right. But to me, it's phenomenal. I mean, we do our quarterly meeting, we also have a couple of employees that work with us. So we do our quarterly meeting. I flew, fly the team to Mexico or something like that. And then it's kind of nice to have the whole family together for the corporate meeting. And then, our extended family is there as well. And my wife also quit her job earlier this year too. And so she's joined the company full time. And so it adds a lot of flexibility.
Absolutely.
You
get to enjoy life more as well, because you can,
exactly.
like you said, right? It could be a business family trip, if that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly.
Tax write-off.
Exactly. Yeah,
that's pretty cool. I got to ask about because it seems like you started off hot, 18, no money down, 8plex in Montreal. Now you're in California, Bay Area, running a turnkey company. Have your kids supporting you, wife's now with you. But there was a gap, right? Have you ever thought about, what would happen if you still own that 8plex, or if you would have maybe been like your sons and just stayed in real estate, cash flow real estate all this time?
Yeah. And this is why this building was more for me, like my parents were like just regular, like working class people. And, so they were living paycheck to paycheck and all of that. I knew I wanted to get out of that. So early on, I figured it out. And I figured that I was missing something. I figured that a lot of people were missing something, because I would go and, like we didn't have some of the knowledge. We didn't have
Sure.
the training. The schools were certainly not telling us what to do. And then even if you talk to the teachers, everybody that you're surrounded with, all they have a 9-to-5 job. So they're not going to tell you how to invest in real estate or whatnot and achieve financial freedom, because they don't know how to either. They're doing their regular 9-to-5 job.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why when I hit when I met my mentor, like I knew that I was like, okay, I need to figure this out.
Yeah.
And so this, to me, that was just an opportunity, and an opportunity to test. That's why I was saying, like, I didn't have a grand plan to achieve financial freedom. I was 18 years old. I just like, I had, life in front of me. And so it was just a test to prove that, hey, I can make money with no money down. And I don't have to have a job. Like, money's coming, like, making money in your sleep kind of thing.
Right.
But so that's why, that was a good test for me. At that point, I knew that, okay, I need to do something. There's something here that I need to.
It also sounds like college. I mean, this is going to sound crazy, but it sounded like the college education got in your way, because it sounds like you're 18, you prove that you can make money and get cash flow. Then you go get a degree in a very advanced mathematical field. You almost feel like you got to go get a job to justify the schooling. Is what it kind of felt like.
Exactly. Yeah. I had a lot of pressure to,
of course,
actually, from my parents. Let's just say my parents were not very happy when I bought the apartment building.
Oh, can you imagine? What are you doing? You're going to ruin yourself. Oh,
exactly. Right. Yeah. Imagine that. And then
I can only imagine.
Then they said, oh yeah, you're, well, if you can afford that, then you don't need the allowance anymore. So they cut my allowance. Then I was living off my girlfriend's.
Yeah. Funny. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So any closing thoughts for the audience, maybe things that you've taken from earning financial freedom over all these years that you want to leave? Why don't we break this down? Why don't you talk to people kind of under 30 with a couple of thoughts, and then maybe over 30? I just made that up off the top of my head.
Yeah, I would say that the first goal that you should have is to achieve financial freedom. So that should be your number one goal. And then so how do you generate the passive income? And then figure that out. What's the best strategy for you? Look at the resources that you have in terms of money, in terms of time, in terms of what I call capabilities or skills or access that you might have, and then implement that strategy. One of the best strategies, obviously, turnkey rentals, but there are other things too. If you want to do like PML or HML or stuff like that, there's all kinds of different strategies, and I talk about them in my book. And I have a strategy quadrant that basically show which one are the lowest risk with the less amount of time. And then this is kind of like the area that you should focus on in terms of where you want to invest to achieve that financial freedom goal. So that's the number one. And that financial freedom goal is going to obviously allow you to buy your time back that you're right now selling to other people. And then after that, you can do, once you have achieved that, then you can do anything you want. You want to write a book, you want to do BRRRR out of state, you want to do apartment building, you want to do whatever. Just now it's open because you can do anything you want. So that's the next thing. The other thing to that, we're talking also to a lot of professionals, professional players, but even like medical professionals, like dentists and stuff like that with COVID, their income has been reduced, right? Significantly. Even like surgeons and all of that. So this is incredible. These are the kind of people that they never expected anything like that to happen. But their expenses goes, but then all of a sudden their revenue goes down, but their expenses continue to go. They're not going to sell their $6 million house or $10 million house because the revenues are low. It's like, you're kind of stuck.
Yeah,
exactly. So that financial also helps you to kind of smooth out these ups and downs or valleys and peaks of revenue fluctuations.
That's very cool.
So so that helps with the professionals. That helps with also salespeople, real estate people that they have a lot of these big bonuses, and then all of a sudden they have to live off the bonus for a number of months for the next deal. So
very cool. Well, Eric, again, I want to congratulate you on writing a book, Stop Trading Your Time
Thank
for
you.
Money. I think that is a wonderful title. Again, tell people where they can find out more about you, more about your turnkeys. Where do you want them to go?
So the best place is on Facebook. I think it's a great location. So I have eric.martel.ca. Then you can DM me there and look what I have there. Also marteleric.com. This is where everything is there. So you can see my YouTube channel. You can see all the activities that I'm involved with. So that's a good central point. And then you can contact me there as well. And then also the book, Eric Martel, eric.com/book. And then you register for that. And then you can get the book for free when it's launched at the end of September.
Well, very cool, Eric. Thank you very much for giving me your time. This has been a lot of fun. Congrats on all your success.
Very good. Thank you very much.
You got it.